There also was the meeting that you arranged for me to meet Dale Jr. that he didn't even show up to. Do you remember that?
No. Oh, yeah.
Whoa,
You remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I have a story about that. In fact, I got to tell you guys,
This is
I
so
was
much
up
fun.
last night for hours because I had 1,000 stories going through my brain. Like everything came rushing back. So I had been a one-man band with Junior for the first 4 years, and honestly, I was just getting wore down. It was seven days a week, and I decided I need to hire somebody to help me. And so I kind of befriended you because you were doing really cool things with Jimmy Spencer, and I thought if this kid can do these really cool things with a guy like Jimmy Spencer.
What are you saying, Jade?
I'm just saying Jimmy was not in the top echelon of drivers. That I bet he could do great things with my company or with Dale Jr. So I kind of befriended Mike, and I don't know how soon I kind of tipped my hand that I was interested in you, but at Indianapolis in August, that was one of the races I had off. So I'm on my couch, and you call me after the race. Jimmy Spencer just hit Kurt Busch. We're in the NASCAR hauler. What do I do?
Yeah.
Like you were freaking out.
I called you?
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm on the phone till I'm kind of calming you down. But you came through that. That turned out pretty well. And I thought, all right, this kid's
That's interesting.
got it.
That's interesting because I don't remember that. But I always credit Jimmy. I mean, in fact, when Jimmy was on the show, I said, I credit you for a lot of me being here because I don't think if you would have not hit Kurt Busch, I don't think that we make Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I don't think we get into a lot of the publications. It also didn't give me an opportunity to handle the PR side of it.
Yeah.
And kind of like try to navigate the conversation the way we did.
Yeah.
I mean, because Jimmy ended up looking like a hero.
Yeah.
And he's the one that bullied the kid.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and so
Wow. So if they don't crash and do all that and go in the NASCAR hauler, maybe you don't get hired. But Jade,
I don't know. That's the way I sort of remembered it. But
Yeah.
he's not here.
yeah.
The podcast.
No, Mike.
All of this because it's Jimmy and Kurt.
could
Thank
make
you,
the
Jimmy.
argument. Yeah. So, but if you and I had started becoming buds, and then I would have definitely called you. Were Jade Gurss. People need to remember Jade was with the stuff he had done with Dale Jr. up until that point, which was 2000 to 2003.
Rolling Stone
was amazing.
Cribs.
And you were like doing stuff that nobody in NASCAR had ever they never even thought to do. Yeah, Cribs,
We were in
Rolling
Playboy?
Stone.
Yeah.
Playboy, my
interview.
gosh. I mean, so that's the stuff like you were you knew, I mean, from a publicity standpoint, I didn't think there was anybody else that could do what you were doing.
Well,
And so for you, so if I'm in a situation, you're my first call.
So me
I'm
and
glad
Jade,
you were.
Jade's we had a motor, everybody else had a 2-barrel carburetor and we had a 4-barrel named Budweiser.
yes.
And, and Jade absolutely knew how to take advantage of that. And Jade's like, we're going to do Rolling Stone. And I don't know that my reaction was, hell yeah. It was more like, what? I'm just scared to death, right? Remember how nervous I was at the MTV Music Awards?
Oh, that's on my list of things to talk about. Yeah.
Freaking vomit.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about it now.
Let's talk about it.
You-
All right.
Well, hold
That's
on,
how you
hold on.
remember it.
Let's jot it down. I want to know about the meeting that I didn't come to.
Well, there's a quick story before that. So I actually
Sorry,
so
Mike.
I offered Mike a position, and then your team won the truck championship, and your boss gave you like a $10,000 raise. So I was like, oh no, the
Jim
kid's-
Smith would do that. And I didn't even work for the truck team, but he'd get hammered after just to celebrate a win or something. He's like, raise for him. I mean, I don't even know if he knows my name. And it's like, raises for everybody, and I'm just like, man, I need to really get along with these truck guys because they're winning. I mean, like Ted Musgrave and
I
Leffler.
need to get a job here so
Yeah.
I can get that raise.
Well, it
No,
cost
I
me
had
a
a
lot of
job.
money. Cost me a lot
So,
of
yeah,
money
I was-
because I had to raise my offer.
Just to give you an idea, in 2003, whatever I started at and whatever ended was the difference of $50,000.
Oh,
man.
man.
Just salary.
yeah, nice.
Trucks were just doing well for me.
Yeah.
So yes, that cost me a little cash.
Was that negotiating with you or something?
Well, I believe, if I understand right, I made you an offer, and you were like, I just got a raise.
Oh, I was bluffing. I couldn't wait to start with you. That's the truth.
Damn. My poker skills weren't very good. So I had made you an offer.
Okay.
And I think we agreed. And then you and I and a group of people went to Atlantic City to watch Arturo Gatti fight, which was amazing. That's another story for another day. And we're waiting before the fight, and Willie Mays came over, and you're shaking hands, and I said, man, you're going to be so excited. I got this really sharp young kid that's going to come aboard. He's going to really be a great addition to our team. And you're like, no, I don't want another guy. You're my guy. I don't want another guy. So I'm like, no, really, he's gonna do great. So your first response to Mike was, no, hell no, I don't want him to come aboard.
Me and you were very close.
Yeah. Which I appreciated, but I don't think it took long for you kids to hit it off.
Yeah.
And Mike so the first event was Daytona 2004, and before the Bud Shootout, I think you were hyperventilating.
Well, hold on. Back up, though. Back up.
Okay.
You had arranged a meeting
Yeah,
for me
I'm
to
trying-
finally meet Dale. It was at DEI or wherever Kelly's office was at
Yeah. Oh,
Chance
yeah.
2 or
Yeah.
And so it was in that little building at the end, right?
Yeah.
And so it was with Kelly, JR, and Dale. And you had emailed Dale, you were going to bring food and lunch, and you were going to bring pizza. So Dale even gave you his pizza order. So we thought, I guess he's coming.
Yeah, usually that's a good sign.
I mean, we weren't sure at first, but I mean, he's giving us his pizza order. And so, but then he didn't show up.
Oh,
and
man.
so, and then I was like, is it me? I mean, like, what I mean, is this normal?
He didn't-
And Jade
he
was
didn't
just
even
like,
know you.
yeah,
So,
right.
yeah.
Didn't know you.
Yeah.
Nope.
I ain't showing up. We'll eat your pizza though.
Yeah.
just
We
in
enjoyed the
response.
hell out of
Right.
that pizza.
Right. So then, so that was, you didn't show up for the first meeting, and then we did meet at Daytona. I remember specifically the first time I met you was at the media day. Remember the media day was just a circus, right? And that's where I first actually met Dale. I was already hired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, I think you were hyperventilating before the Bud Shootout. You're like,
Budweiser put so much pressure on us for the Bud Shootout.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
That's true.
like I couldn't even care less about the Daytona 500. We had been in so many meetings and come up with so many ideas to try to get people to come to the Bud Shootout. Remember there was that draw party?
Oh, yeah, the ticket sales.
Yeah,
That
so
was on our budget.
that's what was really on my mind then.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you won the Daytona 500, made it all better.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was
Yeah.
a pretty cool day.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Except we had to go to do all the media that next week. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well,
Went
yeah,
to New York.
Y'all
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
didn't go. Didn't you have to race the next day too, though?
Yeah.
The Busch race.
You couldn't party
got
after the
rained out.
500 because you had to run the Busch race. And I remember Tony Stewart came to your bus, and you were like, Tony, come on, just get in my Busch car. Why don't you just climb in?
You were trying to get him to run
Because you wanted to party.
Yeah.
You just won the Daytona 500.
Oh my gosh.
And so then we had to get up, because you do the induction of the car into the museum and do the breakfast and then race. And then, I guess the next day we went to New York and we did all that stuff. And
Which I hated.
you did not like it. I thought you did great. My memory of that was we left the David Letterman show. That was our last one of the day, and they're taking us in the car. And Matt Kenseth called to congratulate you on winning. And you're like, Matt, if you have a chance to finish second, because they're going to make you do all this stuff. Look, I've been in New York all day. I haven't had a chance to enjoy it. And for some reason, that stuck out in my mind. You kept telling Matt Kenseth, man, if you got a chance at the 500, just finish second, man. You don't have to go do all stuff. So that was big fun.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
But I mentioned the MTV Music Awards.
Yes.
And being so terrified and going up. It ended up good.
Yeah.
But I think I might have told you on the way there that I wanted to turn around. and go back home.
It took
Like, we're literally in the limousine pulling up, and I'm like, I don't want to get out.
Yeah. It took everything to convince you to do it in the first place. And you were just like, yeah, that's just not, I'm not up to it. I don't want to do it. So I kind of had to keep working on you because we had built a very good MTV relationship, Cribs, and then we did a few more shows with them. So I felt it was important, we got to keep this relationship going. And then you were dug in, man. You were stubborn. And then you finally said, man, I don't want to go there with a damn Mooresville suit. And I was like, what? I can't go up there in something I buy in Mooresville. That's so true. To me, Mooresville suit became like a huge, hilarious comment. So, and that's why I brought this. This is part of it. So, Dale was in the Sexiest Man Alive.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you remember this. Men in the Fast Lane. We'll get some photos of this.
There
after.
it is.
We
Yeah.
shot that at Dover.
Dover in leather pants and a brown shirt, walking through the
in the
garage.
middle of the garage.
Oh
The,
my God.
the woman who styled you for that was really cool. So I said, I'll call her. Sarah Parlow is her name, if she's still out there. Hello. So she lived in New York, and that's how we got hooked up to go to her
We went wherever she was.
Yeah.
And she had like a
racks
assortment
of stuff. Yeah.
And they dressed me.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of made me feel better.
I think so. I think you looked great. There's some hilarious photos of you and
Do you
I.
remember when we sat down in the bench? We sat down in the amphitheater inside
Yeah.
the studio, and we were like, we were on the right side, not in the center,
Yeah.
and we're kind of like midway,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, oh man, we're kind of, I don't know if this is good seats or not. And then, were you on my right? You were on my right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jessica Simpson and her friend sat next to me, and then on his right, so Jessica Simpson and one of her friends is on my left. What year was this?
2001.
2001.
20 years ago yesterday, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
20
On
years
your
ago. Yes.
right was Mandy Moore.
Yes.
And whoever she brought.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and obviously I am terrified. I say not one word to Jessica Simpson, right? Of course, I would have talked her ear off and given the chance, but I didn't have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Jade reaches into his pocket and pulls out a pack of Starburst.
Starburst candy.
Mandy Moore goes, "Oh, Starburst, my favorite. I love the orange ones." And Jade's like, "Oh, here, take one." And so I'm sitting here going, I don't even know what to say to Jessica Simpson, and he's over here talking Starburst.
Dale's
Mandy Moore.
Dale's like, I like Starburst too.
I literally was like, damn.
Here's my thought. As I'm handing her this, because the guy that had been our volunteer to help us said, "Oh, she's 17." So I'm thinking, I'm an adult man in an Italian leather jacket feeding candy to a 17-year-old girl. And I can't look at Mandy Moore the same ever
my
since.
gosh.
So.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want some
candy?
Oh my gosh.
I just couldn't believe it.
It was.
I thought that we were going to be, so when we sat down, I'm like, we're going to be, we must be, the stars are up front, right?
Yeah.
And they set them two next to us, and I'm like, damn, we're right in the middle of this,
Yeah.
right? And so the next thing I know is they come over to, like Jessica gets up and leaves and goes and does her thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, somebody must come get me when it's my
Yeah.
turn to do my thing. So here comes somebody, and I'm like, I'm scared all over again. I go backstage, and I'm terrified. And Jade might know this happened and might not know this happened, but I had this thing I had to read
Yeah.
into a prompter when I got on stage, and I was introducing Lincoln Park, and me and you rewrote it. 'Cause it
Yeah,
was
we
stupid.
did. Yeah, it was really bad.
It was bad.
So we snuck to the woman that did the teleprompter.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
rewrote it. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just 2 lines or something. And so I walk, and right before I go on stage, there was a tribute to
Lisa
Lisa
Lopes or Lopez. Yeah, Left
Eye.
Eye.
Yeah, TLC. And so Destiny's Child is on stage, as part of that tribute.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to the side. They walk me over to the side of the stage.
Yeah.
And it's dark as hell, and there's a bunch of grips and guys and gals working the ropes and the stage, putting it together and pulling it apart and doing all that. And they're all on the side. I'm so scared. And I didn't know where I was in the lineup, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going up after this big moment where everybody in the crowd is sort of celebrating this woman's life and her memory. So it was this heavy moment. And now I'm going to walk out there and go, all right, guys. I like fast cars.
Right. Rev up your engines.
And I'm like, crap. I don't know if this works, right? This feels like a bad timing.
Yeah.
So Destiny's Child comes off the stage, and I'm like 2 feet from them, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm blown away, or I'm starstruck. And Beyonce, right, and all that. Before she was even, this massive icon, I'm like, holy moly, it's them, And I felt so small and I felt like the smallest important person there, right?
Yeah.
And so this grip walks up, like right before I'm getting ready to go on. He goes, "Hey man, will you sign my diecast?"
Oh wow.
Yeah. And Destiny's Child's standing right there, and I'm like, "Did you hear him? You hear that?"
Well, they came out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
I think they had hid like die-casts and other stuff.
Yeah.
You went backstage, and all the, all the union grips and all that were like, hell yeah, there's our guy.
So I signed this guy's die-cast right before. Him asking me that just kind of made all the nerves kind of fall away.
Yeah.
And they put me in this cylinder, and I'm standing in this cylinder that's open with the one side open. They're going to pivot me and turn me around, and there I'll be exposed, revealed to the crowd, right? And as soon as they turn, and I look, and I see Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, right?
Yeah.
P. Diddy. And I'm like, scared, I'm nervous all over again. Poop my pants. But I step off this thing and I read into the prompter and I basically say 2 lines and introduce Linkin Park and then I hauled ass off the stage fast as I could. All right, guys, I know a little bit about cars, so believe me when I tell you that Tire Pros, they're the real deal. They've got great people, great service, and they can take care of all your automotive maintenance needs. Plus, they're a sponsor of this show, so they got great taste in podcasts. So check out Tire Pros. Follow them on Facebook and tell them that I sent you.